Constantino, pound for pound.
Little Giant Boxing.
Here with the one and only Abel Sanchez. Abel, some huge fights coming up. First and foremost, Canelo versus Charlo looks like it's in 4 weeks, less than 4 weeks away. What's your thoughts on the fight?
It's a very good fight. I think the first 4 or 5 rounds are going to be a little difficult for Canelo. I think the speed is going to be, once he figures that out, I think it's a fight like the Plant fight. It's going to wear him down, and if he stops him, he'll stop him late. But Charlo will look good in the fight, but Canelo will still win.
Why do you say he'll look good in the first few rounds?
Because he's a good athlete. I mean, he's a champion. He's moving up some divisions, but he's still an exceptional fighter. He's been the busier of the two brothers, and I think that he has a talent to give Canelo a little difficulty, but Canelo will still beat him.
What do you think about Crawford? Obviously, he's kind of out the winner.
Oh my God!
Moving up 3 weight divisions, and obviously
that can't happen.
Canelo.
Crawford looked like $1 million against Errol. I really thought Errol was going to do a little better, but he didn't look like he was all there that night. I don't understand why he looked that bad. He just looked like he was one step behind, but you can't take it away from Terence. Terence looked like $1 million. I really loved the way he fought.
Why do you say that can't happen? I mean,
It shouldn't happen. It shouldn't happen. It shouldn't happen. It's just, if it's a money fight, if it's a money grab, then yes, okay. For everybody concerned, that's okay. But as far as moving up 3 weight divisions to fight, I mean, an actual 140-pounder moving up to fight a guy that just fought at 100, fought the best fighter and one of the best fundamental fighters in the business right now, which is Bivol, and wasn't able to be knocked out. Let me say, Bivol wasn't able to knock him out. He lost the decision, yes, but he fought the best fighter at 175 pounds. How can a 140-pounder move up to fight at 168? It just doesn't make any sense to me.
So you just wouldn't want to see it, or
that's not something that I think should be. I don't think it'd be competitive. I think it's a fight that Canelo will not fight as he would fight if he fought Bivol. I think that it would be a letdown, in my opinion.
A letdown, as in it'll be like one-sided, or letdown?
Not so much one-sided. Terence is too much of a great fighter for it to be one-sided, but it's just a fight that will be dominated by Canelo, size-wise.
You think it's too much of a size gap?
Too much of a gap, yeah.
And as far as, go ahead.
Now, as far as Charlo, he's a bigger man. So he's a bigger man. He's not a 140-pounder. He's a bigger man. So that makes a little more sense to me.
Okay. And as far as Earl Spence activating his rematch clause against Terence
Crawford? I think that he should. I'm kind of disappointed that they decided to replace Derek. I think Derek.
Is that real?
That's what I heard. I heard Calvin.
That's just a rumor. I don't know.
That's just a rumor. I heard Calvin Ford and then Roy Jones were going to start working with him. I hope that's not true. I think that Derek can only coach. Derek is not inside the ring fighting for Errol, and for some reason Errol just didn't look right to me in that fight. You know, his walking in the ring, his eyes didn't look good. He looked like he was dehydrated. He just didn't look like I've seen him before.
Why do you say that he looked hydrated? People were saying a lot that he did look a little off.
He looked, you know, I know that he wasn't, but I've seen a lot of guys, in my years, I've seen a lot of people that were loaded, you know, whether it be liquor or would be marijuana, and his eyes just looked terrible to me. He looked like in that state, like he wasn't there. I'm sure that he wasn't loaded, but he just didn't look like maybe he was all mentally there.
Okay, Calvin Ford, you said, and who else?
I think that's what I heard. That's what I read. Calvin Ford, who's worked with Gervonta Davis.
Right.
He's out of that Maryland, Baltimore area. That some great fighters, there are great programs, and he's a very good coach. I mean, if that happens, I'm just disappointed that Derek was let go. If that's true.
Okay, you said that it was a possibility that it was Calvin Ford, and who else?
And Roy Jones.
Oh, Roy Jones.
I read that on Facebook. I don't know how truthful that is, but. Not that he's stepping down. He's not stepping down. They're good coaches, but well, at least Calvin is. I think Roy has to prove himself still. But Derek is a very good coach, and I don't think that he should be let go.
At 154.
It's at 154 now. That is, if Terence happens to have the same kind of fight that he had at 147, then it just shows us what a great fighter Terence is. But if it's a more competitive fight, it could show us that maybe Errol did have an issue with the weight. Remember, in the amateurs, Errol fought at 152, I think.
Yeah.
So now it's 10 years later, and he's dropping, and he's been trying to fight the weight at 147. So he's dropping himself down below what he fought as a kid. So how can that be? That has to be affecting him.
Right. Who's the best fighter in the world, Abel Sanchez?
You know, it all depends on how you're asking me that. If you're asking me for pound, fundamentally talking, technique talking, or the face of boxing. If it's a face of boxing, it's Canelo. Canelo's the one making the money, man. Tyson Fury would be number 2 for me. Terence would be number 3. Now, Terence, if he comes back and beats Errol like he did the first time, and he can garner the kind of attention that the other 2 guys are, then maybe he'll be at the top of the list. Now, as far as a fighter and exciting fights and style-wise and what he looked like the last time, Terence Crawford.
As far as Golovkin, do you think he'll come back, or what will he?
You know, I don't know. I understand they're trying to lure him out. They talk Munguia, Berlanga trying to lure him out.
Those are good fights.
Those are good fights. The problem I see with those fights is that those 2 kids are young. There's no reason to put them in against an animal, and I mean that in a good way. Gennady hits you. Gennady punishes you for 12 rounds. You're gonna stay punished. You know, he's gonna hurt you. He's gonna hurt you longevity-wise.
You're saying irreversible damage.
Yeah, there's damage that you're not gonna get back. You may hit him. He may cut him because you hit him, but he's gonna hit you. He's gonna pound on you, and when he pounds on you for 12 rounds, it's gonna be very difficult for you.
So you think that's why Triple G maybe doesn't want to fight, because he doesn't want to hurt these guys, or what do you think?
No. I think Triple G's, 41 or 42 years old now, maybe 41 in April. No, I think he's got a great life. I mean, what's the sense of coming back and giving these guys a chance to make him look bad? He doesn't have to. At least I don't think he has to.
There's no doubt about the fact that Triple G's a great fighter, a Hall of Famer. He's won a lot of great fights, made history. But do you think maybe he should hang it up, or what do you think?
No, that's up to him. I've always said that the fighter and his loved ones are the ones that should determine whether he continues or doesn't continue. He's a great fighter. He's still a great fighter, given the right fights, obviously. He's not a young man no more, but I think his wife and his children should be the ones that, and himself should be the ones that decide, and nobody else. Nobody has a right to tell somebody that they shouldn't work.
Do you guys still talk, obviously?
Well, actually, I haven't talked to him since we broke up. No.
Wow. No message to him or like anything?
No, you know what? I'm sure one day we'll cross paths and listen, I'm talking to you right now because of Gennady Golovkin and because of Terry Norris, because of all the great fighters that I've had. So I cherish the moments that we had together, and I wish him the best, and I hope that his kids are well, and I hope that he's doing well.
Abel, do you want to let the boxing world know anything about you, your
Well,
updates?
actually, I retired, really.
Okay,
But I sold my gym. I sold my gym to
Munguia, if I'm not mistaken, right?
And I retired back in, actually last year. I stopped working last year, and I sold the gym in October. But I've got a young man, a cruiserweight champion, has been on my phone just hounding me about training him. He's the guy that I had before. I started with him when he had like 12 or 13 fights. He's 27-0. He's a WBA cruiserweight champion. He's a super champion. He's a very good fighter. So I may help him for this next fight. I may train him for this next fight. I don't know. We haven't really decided. But I'm semi-retired. Let's put it that way.
But you're getting the itch to possibly come
No,
back.
I'm not getting the itch. It just I really like this young man. He's been with me for a long time, and I think people have to understand that when you work with somebody like that for a long time, they become your kids. They become your children. It's difficult to say no to your children. You know. So when he told me, Coach, I really looked bad in my last fight. I really think that I need to get back to what I was doing before. So I may be enticed back.
And who is this fighter we may know?
His name is Arsene Goulamirian. He's Armenian, grew up in France, but Armenian descent. He is the best cruiserweight in the world.
Okay, and obviously you're looking to guide him into the right path.
Yeah, well, he's 33 years old, so I'm looking to maybe train him for, I think he's got 3 fights on a contract, so maybe I'll train him for those 3 fights, and we'll see what happens.
Abel Sanchez, you've done history, you've made history, you've made world champions, you know. I'm sure you'll be in the Hall of Fame one day. Anything you want to leave us with?
Well, I just appreciate all the attention. I'm humbled by people coming up to me and asking for pictures. I had a blessed career. I enjoy coming to the fights like we're seeing right now to see all my friends, but I enjoyed the trip.
What's your favorite boxing memory that you'll take with you?
You know what? There's a lot of boxing memories. The boxing memories that I have that will go away with me is watching my fighter's face smile when they raised their hand. I think that was the things that I'll cherish the most.
Is there a victory that you cherish the most?
All of them, from a 4-round fight, 6-round fight to a championship fight. To me, they were all the same because it was the blossoming of a career. And for them to win and for them to know that we put in all the hard work and they win, it's like I said, they're our children.
Thanks, Abel. Appreciate your time.
You're welcome.
Abel, before I let you go, I forgot to ask, so what do you make of Eddie Reynoso saying you and him are the only immigrant trainers that have won Trainer of the Year, giving you credit, giving you props?
You know, I think that Eddie and Chepo have done a great job with Canelo, and a lot of the kids that they've had. They're the grassroots kind of trainers that are important in this business. I've been fortunate enough to have had my association with a lot of great fighters, but Eddie has built a lot of fighters with Chepo. And to see what he's done with Canelo, who I think, like I told you before, is the #1 pound-for-pound fighter in the world for me. It's very rewarding to know that he and I match wits in 2 fights. I still think we won him, but you know what? The record shows that he beat me. But I wish him all the luck, and I'm so proud of him and his father for what they have done.